Hello guys, my name is Dane and welcome to Recon Wildlands. With the Splinter Cell update, we got a new assault rifle, the SC4000. Now I wanted to compare this in terms of recoil, accuracy, spread, damage and handling, overall just how it works out, some of its closest contenders. And from what I've seen with all of the assault rifles in their most basic form, the SC4000 is most closely matched up to the TAR-21. I'm gonna show you over here just so you can see that the TAR-21 has only got a little more accuracy and a little worse handling than the SC4000. So we want to try and test out exactly how the spread works and all of that. So I'm gonna do it like this, where I basically stay the same distance from this wall, and then I'm gonna show you guys the spread, the recoil and all of that between the two weapons. Now I put the TAR-21 in its most basic form, so no special updates, no long barrel, no rangefinder, none of that. Just so it can compare to the SC4000 at its most basic form. Especially because the SC4000 is not really that customizable. You can change the scope as you can with everything. You can't have any sort of iron sights on this weapon. Unfortunately, you can't change the trigger, you can't change the magazine size. And you can also have something up here with the rail. The barrel is standard, and of course you can change the muzzle, but I want to test them out in their most basic forms, and then I want to try and improve them to the best of my ability with the updates, just to see how much they differ. Now I'm gonna do this 3 ways with the recoil and the spread. First, I'm gonna aim down sight, and then I'm gonna just empty the magazine, then I'm gonna go a little to the right, then I'm gonna fire third person while aiming down sight, then I'm gonna go a little bit to the right, and then I'm just gonna hip fire. I'm gonna do the same for both weapons. We're gonna start from here. As you can see, it climbs quite a lot. Let's see over here then. Oh, I gotta wait for the chopper to pass by. Don't want them to just start firing at me. Okay, that should be enough. Now, fire. Okay, so third person is a little bit worse with the bullet spread, but aiming, basically the recoil is the same, but the spread is a little worse when aiming in third person. Now, time for the hip fire. Yeah, as you see, it gets progressively worse. So, as you would imagine, hip fire is the worst. Aiming down sight in third person, it's not really that accurate. It's really good at the beginning, but then it just goes AWOL. And while just straight aiming down sight in first person, it's the tightest spread. But the recoil is still quite significant. But you can see like the recoil kind of stays the same. It goes up, veers a bit to the left and up to the right, stays there. It's the same pattern throughout. Now, let's try out the TAR-21. Aiming down sight and firing. Okay, from what I could also tell, the rate of fire is a little bit quicker. But you can already see the grouping is way better. The recoil is way more in a straight line. And the bullets are not wearing off to the different sides. Now, third person, aiming down sight. Yeah, it's basically the same as over here, where it starts out really nice, but then it just goes a bit more in a bigger spread. Now let's try the hip fire. Okay, that was a bit too close to this one, but again you see the same pattern as over here. As you can tell from the recoil, the TAR-21 has got a less vertical recoil than the SC4000, and it's got a way tighter spread. So it's a bit more controllable. Now I'm gonna try and improve on them as much as possible. Now we're gonna take the foregrip V4 because that one improves handling the most. Rail cover, let's just get with the laser sight, stock muzzle. Let's go with the compensator version 2. We're basically gonna do the same thing for the TAR-21. Now you could put a longer barrel on there, we're not gonna do that yet. We still want to compare them as much as possible. So as you see, the recoil has been about reduced by half. Now let's see how it goes in the third person aim down sight mode. Okay. See, this time it's going way more to the left. In first person it went off to the right, the recoil. And that's also a different pattern to the first test without anything on there. Now let's try the hip fire. Yep, way up to the left. So the spread is actually overall tighter. The recoil has still been reduced to about half. Now let's see how the TAR-21 fares. Aim down sight. Fire. As expected, a much tighter line. Much easier to control. Let's try the third person. Bit more spread, but still way tighter than the SC4000. Now it's the hip fire. Oh crap. I'm gonna do that one over. I accidentally zoomed in. There we go. See, the spread is still tighter than the SC4000 assault rifle. So you guys can see the point basically. The TAR-21 performs better overall. So that's like the main difference. Of course, this is like the most generic way of testing the recoil, for me at least. So they're still quite similar. But the thing that I don't really like about the SC4000 is the fact that it's not really that customizable. I would have loved to be able to slap a bigger barrel on there. I would have loved to be able to put a bigger magazine on it. And then of course if I could play around with the stock. But I can't do it with the SC4000 and I can't do it with the TAR-21 either. So in that sense they are very similar. Next I'm gonna test out the bullet drop of these two assault rifles and compare them. As you see, this building is exactly 200 meters away, so I'm gonna shoot at the lowest part of this window to test out the bullet drop. Left side is gonna be the SC4000, right side is gonna be the TAR-21. Gonna fire 3 shots. As you probably saw from the bullet drop, not only did it drop quite far, see right down here, but also it steered off to the right a bit. Now it's time to test out the TAR-21. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, the TAR-21 is a tighter grouping at longer range. It doesn't steer that far off to the right, and the bullet drop is not really that much different. It's a bit better, but that's basically it. Nothing special there. Now let's see if we take the TAR-21 and we put a longer barrel on there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So this is basically where you see the real difference between the SC4000 and the TAR-21. The TAR-21 can add one additional thing to the customization, which is the longer barrel, and as you see, that basically just halved the bullet drop over 200 meters, and it also increases the damage a bit. Of course, it's a bit lower handling than the standard barrel, but compared to the SC4000, which is basically as limited as can be with the customizations, and the TAR-21 kind of following close up, I'd definitely go for the TAR-21 because it adds a longer barrel, you get more damage, you get better bullet drop, even though bullet drop doesn't really matter that much. So basically, there's not really any reason for you to get the SC4000 unless, of course, you like the rifle. You like the way that it sounds, you like the way that it handles, and you like the way that it looks. Because that's basically the only reason why I got it, was because it looks cool. It looks freaking awesome. But compared to the TAR-21, which has one additional thing to be added, which is a longer barrel, the SC4000 kind of falls short. It does the same damage as the TAR-21 without the longer barrel. It handles almost the exact same way, even though the TAR-21 is easier to handle. It's got tighter spread, it's got a easier recoil, it's basically just straight up, where the SC4000 steers off to the left quite a lot, even when customized. So take that for what you will. That's at least this review of the SC4000. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Dane, and I'll see you next time.